You lost the league at Goodison Park. You lost the league at Goodison Park. Hi everyone, welcome to the fourth and final beer of this little exploratory series. Not that I don't think anything's been achieved by this. Yeah, it's probably going to be a bit of a longer one because we'll go on a little bit of a ramble, and yeah, it's been 14 years, so let me have my one rare moment when it comes to Everton. But more importantly, I think that game could have, I mean, obviously, mathematically, I think Brentford will save us. Well, this will be uploaded after the fact, so we shall see. But yeah, what a game of football that was from Everton. Probably the best that I've seen them, not just this season, but for a long time. Anyway, we're not here to talk about football. We're here to talk about Northern Monk, and this is the fourth and final beer of my little series going back to Northern Monk. So we're going to the Patrons Project series once again. This is 43.02. Great Northern Grub, Northern Monk Dunked Chocolate Digestive Decadent Stout. 8.4% ABV, chocolate and biscuit. Really nice artwork there. I do love that Cooper-esque font for Dunk. And those cups look really, really nice, don't they? So, as is always the case, nice pull-out label. We'll show the inside first. And this is what the outside looks like. So I'll quickly read through. Get Dunking. Great Northern Grub are beery takes on some of the, it's not even small writing, of iconic foods and flavours of the North. The second in the series is a dunked chocolate digestive decadent stout. There's nought better than a proper brew. Yorkshire tea, obviously, even though I'm kind of over tea. Yorkshire tea is the best. Although I like, was it Twinings did that, like, biscuit tea? Or was it Yorkshire tea who did, like, a little spin-off? Like, specifically biscuit tea. It was very, very nice. But, yeah, I find cups of tea really fucking boring. I'm much more of a coffee person. And it's not just us who say so. Scientific research has gone into dunking. When to dunk, how long to dunk, and exactly what to dunk. According to a 2022 study in the British Medical Journal, the chocolate digestive has the best crunch factor after dunking, as it loses only 15% of its crunchiness. Can't read. After being dunked. How crunchy this is measured is one for the boffins to know. The classic digestive will also last 9 seconds of dunking before falling apart. Plenty of time for a dunk or two before that first bite. The scientific testers put 4 biscuits through their paces using a standard cup of tea containing 40 ml of semi-skim milk. The scientifically backed best cup of tea, so you know, armed with knowledge, backed by science. So crack open the dunked, pour, maybe grab your favourite bicky and dunk an experiment of your own, which we may well do. Notes from the brewery. It's going to be a long review just reading this. We all love a good dunk, inspired by our online poll to find the best biscuit. This is dunked, a big rich chocolate digestive stout weighing in at 8.4%. This robust and decadent stout is packed with flavours of chocolate biscuits with a hint of caramel, coffee and dried fruit. Don't know what that's got to do with a digestive, but hey ho. We don't take our tea black, but we sure do our beers. This is rich, dark, chocolatey and malty, wrapped up in a thick Moorish stout, best enjoyed with your feet up, and a chalky digestive for dunking if you fancy it. And I don't actually have any chocolate digestives. Funny enough, I had my first digestives for ages in work today. And it was very nice, although I've got to say the custard creams will run out as they tend to do. That's one of those biscuits where it doesn't matter where you buy it, how much you pay for it. The cheaper the better, because you're just getting a fundamentally good biscuit. The only biscuits that we do have are these which I suppose we could try, just for scientific fuck off. Are these not biscoffy? I think they're like speculoos. But we shall see. Anyway, yeah, not had a Northern Malt Stout for a good while. So let's see if we can end on a high, because it was a bit of a lull, to be honest, with that last pale ale, which was for the Fresh Fest. Like I said in that review, nothing to do with quality or anything like that, just flavour profile that I didn't really find that fascinating. Fascinating? Satisfying. Anyway, don't know why I did a funny face when I slapped me cheek. I've seen videos where... Anyway. So, beer in the glass then. And that it looks brown but jet black at the same time. I can't even begin to describe. It looks jet black on the camera. Just shy 2 fingers worth of a nice tan looking head. Looking like the base of a chocolate digestive, or just like a plain digestive. And this part of my hair is really annoying because it doesn't know where it wants to go. And if I put it like that, it looks like I've got the world's worst comb over. I should really get something sorted with this hair, man. It's not a good look, especially when you catch an awkward look in the wind. See, I want like just perpetually messy hair. So I'll have to get like layered or something. I don't know. I'm just shooting from the hip. I did a gesture of shooting from the hip and you can't even see. You can just see up to my tits. And they bounced. So, spicy content, age restricted. You can wank if you want to. Leave your friends behind. Because if you don't wank and then you don't wank, then they're no friends of mine. That took a weird turn. But looks fantastic. It was pouring nice and thick actually. Let's see what we get on the nose. Slightly get the biscuitiness, but then most stouts have a biscuity character coming from the malt anyway. Definitely getting the dried fruits coming through. Looks like one of those raisin, what are they called? They're like not perforated, but like that around the edge. And they've got like little fork holes in them. Pinpricks, whatever. What a terrible way to try and describe a biscuit. Maybe like a slightly darker malted milk, perhaps. A little bit of chocolate in there, not too much. By all accounts, smells like a very satisfying stout. It does have a nice decadence to it. It's a little bit earthy. That fruity aroma is sort of dissipated slightly, which is good. Yeah, chocolate's coming out a little bit more as it's sort of like breathing in the glass. Just smells really, really satisfying. Really, really does. So without any further ado, and without this little shot of hair, look at that. What the fuck is that? I could proper do a Donald Trump hairstyle if I wanted to, but I don't want to. Because it's bad enough that people equate me to Boris Johnson. Anyway, cheers, let's give it a taste. Cheers. Said cheers twice, fuck off. At first, I was like, not really getting hints of chocolate digestive on that initial taste on the intake. But for a brief moment, this flavour just comes through. And it does kind of taste like a chocolate covered biscuit. Almost like one of those, you know, the Hovis biscuits, Hovis digestives. Yeah, it's got that slightly unsweetened biscuit character to it. Dark chocolate, cacao. I mean, are they also trying to replicate the tea kind of thing? Because, you know, you do see a lot of tea infused and inspired beers. But it doesn't have like sort of like a black tea flavour, which is good because I don't think tea and beer works too well. Not like my boy Coffee. Always assuming the gender of coffee. All I know is coffee is king, aside from a good beer. But you know, you can socially, it's socially acceptable to drink coffee throughout the day, whereas it's not with beer. Probably for a good reason. I'm not gonna lie. Thematically, it doesn't like come into my head that this is supposed to be based on the concept of dicking. I mean, if you want to do that with your tea or coffee, then, you know, who am I to judge? But yeah, it doesn't taste or take me to having a nice cup of tea and dunking a biscuit into it. What it does do, though, is it works really well as a stout. There's a little bit of like general malty biscuity flavours. There's a bit of chocolate in there, more like the dark chocolate digestives, which I do tend to find a bit more satisfying. Maybe a slight Bourneville character. It feels like you have to do an Alan Partridge-esque 90s alternate comedy voice when you're talking about biscuits and tea. I like a good dunk of rich tea or anise biscuit in mine. Could even do a Vic and Bob sort of skit, but I don't have remotely any quality that they do, both in comedy and also as a person. But it's a really nice stout. Almost has a slight licorice character to it. Maybe a hint, a very subtle hint of a not too sweet cinder toffee. Nice texture. I mean, fundamentally, it's a really, really nice stout. Not too heavy, especially with its ABV. It does have a decadence to it. It does have a richness. To me, it's a little bit more earthy than sweet. And like I said, first thing that springs to mind is not dunking a biscuit in your tea or coffee. In fact, maybe there is a little bit of like that coffee flavour you get with some stouts without it actually having coffee in it. Which, by the way, I did have. I dunked biscuits today for the first time for a while. And custard creams in a nice cup of coffee. I like mushing it in my mouth. Anyway, yeah, I'd say this is a very, very solid end to this little series. Again, I know for a fact that I've had much more, you know, flavoursome and rich and, you know, in-your-face stouts from Northern Monk. But I think that's a really nice one. Sort of like that mid-strength, really, because it's not like completely imperial, but it's not like the ABV of a dry stout. And I think it works really, really well as a stout. I'm maybe getting a little bit more chocolatiness coming through. Like slightly melting, you know, and chocolate biscuit when it's melted on your fingers. Or when the chocolate melts on a biscuit. There we go. But yeah. Out of the 4 that I've had, this is probably the best beer. Just because, I'm not going to lie, I've been craving a stout for a good while. I do have a Beak Banana Imperial Stout, which I bought at the same time as these. I'm not going to crack that open tonight, though. Just having one beer. Just want to get these videos uploaded, recorded, so I can upload them without, like, rushing through them. The weakest was that Fresh Fest beer. Probably behind that was the pale, the other pale that I had. Second best was that lager, just because it was really intriguing, something a bit different. To me, captures the essence of, you know, the collaborative, experimental side of Northern Monk. This is very, very good. Very, very good. Just slightly misses, for me, the theme. You could have that and you're instantly transported. to sitting in your living room at your grandparents' house on a Sunday evening after you've had your tea and just chilling, watching, you know, Heartbeat. Or what's that thing with, I was trying to make a Matthew Kelly sort of reference, but I think that man's been through enough. I don't actually know, did he actually do anything wrong, or was it just a joke? Because I know he had trouble with Frank Skinner, didn't he? Anyway, apologies to Matthew Kelly if he did nothing wrong, and apologies if Matthew Kelly did something wrong. Anyway, to end this review, and then we'll talk a little bit about what I feel about Northern Monk, let's give this a bit of a dunk. I don't know the scientific side of dunking a biscuit into beer, whether the heat plays a factor. Still just as crispy. It makes the biscuit a little bit more buttery, yet satisfyingly bitter on the back end. Oh yeah, a biscuit like that's got loads of spices and ginger and cinnamon in. That works really, really, really well. Oh wow. It could soften the biscuit a little bit more. Oh, that's really nice. In fact, I'd say they could have potentially redeemed themselves slightly on that thematic viewpoint. Because yeah, dunking a biscuit into a stout, it works as if that's what you could do. Because let's face it, dunking, and he said dicking again, dunking, you know, a biscuit into a cup of tea or coffee, who came up with that? What sort of person was that person? It's like the first person to milk a cow. What the fuck were you doing to that cow? Anyway, yeah, that works really, really well. I'm so tempted to get a few more biscuits and dunk it, but I'm not going to because I'll probably be sick. But yeah, I'd say strong end to this little series. For me though, far from Northern Monk's finest examples that I've had over the years, but they've released so many beers, you know, on a regular basis. So, you know, not every beer is going to hit all of those high notes all the time. In regards to throwing it back to why I started this little mini-series, these are miles apart from, and I'm sorry to harp on about it, but if you've been watching these videos, then I'm not going to apologise, because that's the reason why I'm doing these videos. Plus, I just needed an excuse to get content up, because I've been lacking over the last few months again. Yeah, I still just can't put my finger on why those Northern Monk beers from that Beer 52 box were just so boring, bland. And like I said, these beers I've had this week, far, you know, I mean, not bad by any stretch. Don't misconstrue my words in that way, please. But far from Northern Monk's finest works, but there's enough in these beers that's taking me back to really enjoying Northern Monk beers. So like I said, the stuff you can get in the supermarkets like Faith, Heathen, Heretic, Faith in Futures, whatever like seasonal releases they have in the supermarket and on the supermarket shelves. You know, beers you can go to time and time again and get a consistently good drinking experience. Heathen's still up there as one of my favourite beers to drink, and I'm so glad it's easy accessible, especially when you're doing your shopping. I still want to do a direct order from Northern Monk, but I'm going to wait until there's like enough new releases that intrigue me in this saturated market before I did a direct order. But yeah, if you had that Beer 52 box, the Northern Monk Takeover. And again, I'm not going to diss Beer 52. I'm not going to diss Northern Monk. I'm just going to say, if you had those beers and that was your first time having Northern Monk, don't let that be your introduction. Because I know for a fact, and these are examples of that Northern Monk can still brew fantastic, interesting, high quality beer. The level of collaboration is something that I absolutely love. I mean, what have we had with these beers? We've had them teaming up with a restaurant. We've had them teaming up with, you know, artists, promoting their own new festival, a gallery. What else? A hop project. A bar, pub. So yeah, that's what I really like, and it's safe to say that Northern Monk for me, although I've not drank too many newer releases from them, admittedly, are still brewing some of my favourite. Well, they're still one of my favourite breweries. End of. And yeah, I'm looking forward to picking up some more. Probably going to be doing a bit of a food shop tomorrow, so I'm going to stock up on some Faith, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, this is really nice. Basically, if you want it to do what it says on the tin, get yourself a few biscuits and dunk it. Trust me, it works. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an overweight scumbag, which I am. But yeah, lovely stuff indeed. Anyway, if you've not seen the previous ones, then let me just go watch them. I've got plenty of Northern Monk reviews on the channel. And yeah, apologies to any Liverpudlians who I might have offended with that really childish. I didn't even chant it, did I? I went to work in this top and it was very quiet. Very quiet. Anyway, cheers for watching. You all take care, stay safe, check out Northern Monk, and yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Was this series worth it, or is it just, wow, I watched all these videos and that's all he said at the end? See you later. Clumsily pointed then. Huh.